Welcome to Beers with Contractors.
All right, Terry, and tradies. Tradies out there, listen, I have him back in studio. The man, the myth, the legend, OTL himself, Terry Kleinfelter, is back. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers, William. Good to see you, buddy.
Dude, I don't know. When people ask me, like, where's Terry been? I don't know if I should tell him that he's on maternity leave, sabbatical, like he's been canceled. He's on a performance improvement plan. I don't know what should I have told him? I mean, dude, you traveled.
I took a tour of the southeast part of the United States in a 15-passenger white van. So there's nothing creepy about that.
I was going to say, bro, that sounds creepy.
I know. I had my family in the back, and we went from Oklahoma to all around Florida and back all within about a week and a half. So you can understand where my mental state and or capacity is at this moment in time.
Well, I noticed when he came into the studio, I was in a meeting and you instantly cracked a beer. So it sounds like you're relieving some of that stress, but
Great
man,
time,
I missed you, bro. I was at home taking care of Sydney. You were out of town. You were doing all sorts you were sick, which boggles my brain that you were sick. Because, dude, you're outside in the cold weather and you got farm animals and stuff like that. Like, man, when you're sick, like, it doesn't matter. Like, animals got to eat, bro.
Have I mentioned the two small children that are like tiny little petri dishes that bring every known and unknown illness home to any known parent out there? So, no.
Well, and our guest today is going to know. I already know he knows a little bit about that because he's right in that stage now. But, man, I missed you, bro. I'm glad. The duo, we're like Tango and Cash. Do you know that reference?
I do.
There's so many good duos, like Tango and Cash. You know, what was the ones in Lethal Weapon?
Batman and Robin?
Nah, easy, bro. Easy. We're not going to go that deep. But, hey, today's guest, I know this person. He's a very good friend of mine. However, super cool business concept that I think is going to shake up and change the home services world. I think what they're doing today is way ahead of its time, but it's already established across the country. And it's this concept of rather than reactively fixing things in a home, they proactively maintain the home as a system, thus reducing the expenses for homeowners, which, I mean, you know, they've got like, I don't know, 80-year mortgages now. There's always these things are getting out there, bro.
Yep.
And he came to me with this concept like a long time ago. And I was like, okay, I think I can see it. Now they are taking off and growing like wildfire. And I want to introduce today as the podcast that I think all of us, I don't care what business you're in, commercial, home services, specialty trades, a gentleman by the name of Hunter Culp of Abundant Home Services, who comes with a wealth of knowledge, not only from the construction and trades business, but more so from the insurance side, which also has had to deal with the costs associated. He can show you what that hits you on the back end, those hidden little things that just drive you crazy. But our guest today, Hunter, the Chief Business Officer, swinging around his CBO energy today. Hunter, thanks for coming, bro, to Beers with...
Ooh.
He's got the jingle.
I chose to forego the beer and go straight to bourbon. So drinking the branded glass.
We're good.
The next 2 hours are going to get enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. We're going long today.
And I would just like to say that I really appreciate you starting 2026 by setting the bar so incredibly low by having me on. There's nowhere to go up from here. It's just like our business. You know, we're in the startup stages. There's nowhere to go but up. And
yeah,
I'm happy to be here, man.
Well, hold on though. Like you guys are startups, but you're not startups because you guys are already established. So let's go back to this whole, because you merged multiple business ideas into one
Correct.
conglomerate. But tell me, I want to hear the background story of how Abundant Home Services was started. And then what was that aha moment that like, oh, this is where the traditional model is not working and we're going to go in this direction?
Yeah. So my background's in insurance and it's in personal lines insurance. Dabble a little bit in commercial, but I mostly just did home and auto insurance, life insurance, things like that. And I did that for almost 20 years. Owned a retail independent agency, sold that back in September of 2024. And I was basically a stay at home dad for, I don't know, a good 6 months. Talked to a good friend of mine, Eric Sullivan. He works at JP Morgan and was like, dude, what should I do? I have a lump of sum of cash. I don't want to sit around all the rest of my life. What should I do? He said, man, go find you a tradesman that you can partner with and help him grow their business. I approached my good buddy Josh Wilkerson. He owned JW Heat and Air. I said, Josh, I'd like to buy 50% of your company. I'll do all the back office stuff. I'll run the business. You do techs and onboarding, and you do all the blue collar stuff. And let's grow this. At the time, it was himself and two other techs. So we had started that conversation, and we happened to sit on the board together at a nonprofit called The Representative, which is geared towards helping men. And our board president, Adam Warner, who's a good friend of both of ours, caught wind of the fact that we were talking about going into business together. Adam owns a construction company, does remodels, add-ons, attic conversions, things like that. He's been doing that for about 15 years. And he was really upset that we had started putting together a partnership without cluing him into it. And so he kind of headbutted his way into it. We didn't invite him. It just happened.
He never left. You
He
showed
just-
up one day, never left.
No, I bet. So we brought his construction company and expertise. He's got great subs. He's got, and I'll preface the rest of the conversation by saying, like, I'm not a contractor. Like, I'm learning this space right now. There's a lot that translates well from the insurance space, especially in terms of trying to build like a renewable book of business. So that's kind of what my focus is. But I'm still learning contractor lingo and what everything means. But he brings that wealth of knowledge. Josh is just an incredibly awesome human being and a great HVAC tech. And we brought those together and we really kind of gave birth to this idea of when we were trying to kick around ideas for like how to create renewable income. How do we set people up on subscription contracts? And that's the key, right? How do we go beyond just like an HVAC tune-up?
Yeah.
And we started to kind of put these package ideas together. And eventually we arrived at where we're at now. And that is we have like Oklahoma's first trying to kind of standardize good, better, best subscription packages available for all your home maintenance needs. So that's everything from like HVAC tune-ups and filter replacements to dryer vent cleanouts to hot water tank flushes and tankless water heater flushes and gutter cleanouts and winterization, and all of our packages include prepaid handyman labor. So if one of our customers orders some furniture that needs to be assembled from IKEA, they can call us up, and if they're a subscriber, they have prepaid hours for that, so they can have our
Very cool.
handyman come out and do that for them, or hang a TV or fan or whatever.
Well, what's interesting to me, Hunter, is just getting back from Florida. In Florida, there's this retirement community called the Villages, and something like 130,000 retirees, right?
Did you just do a tour there, Terry? Is that why you know of this?
Well, I will be moving in a few years, but what shocked me is when I was down there, because I have family down there, is the amount of home service businesses within the community. That's where it's at, right? Everything is service related. And something like you all is basically a one-stop shop for someone who, like, I don't want to deal with it anymore, right? I'm retired. I'm done with it. I want to just go out and have fun. Or in this community, it could be someone, I have no idea what I'm doing. Someone please help me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we are. Yeah, one-stop shop is basically it, like juggling invoices, juggling contractors, things like that. When something happens with the home, want to be the one-stop shop for people, the one call that they make. However, getting there that's the rub, and creating trust with the customer, where they trust us not only just with the general maintenance of their home, but they trust us to come in and do a system swap when that's needed, or to trust us to come in and do a kitchen remodel when they decide they get to that point. So, the trust has to be there for cross-selling. The trust has to be there for every component of what we do. So trust is the foundational component of what we're trying to build our business on.
Now, you touched on this because I think a lot of contractors feel like they want to get into this. They just don't know.
Mhm.
And I know you're just like anybody else, Hunter. We're all just figuring this massive complexity out. But
Yeah.
let's just talk about the structure of the tiers that you have. Because
Yeah.
I love this concept of like, by the way, this concept of I got so many handyman hours
Mhm.
because the wife just ordered fucking 17 things from IKEA and I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. No
And
doubt.
I want to be clear, like the first piece of furniture from IKEA is getting like put together
Yep.
really well. The
Yep.
17th beer is kicking in later and there's a degrading factor. So, but like tell me about this concept of the tiered pricing and what was the genesis of that and what derived it? Because it seems to be a profitable model for contractors. It seems to be doing well.
Yeah. So I'd say that our margins on each package run anywhere from like 30 to 40%. We basically took what our costs are in terms of hours involved. We consolidated visits, across all three packages so that, when we send an HVAC tech out to do an HVAC tune-up, he's also doing the dryer vent clean out while he's there, and he's knocking out, on a separate visit, he's knocking out the hot water tank flush or whatever. So
Right.
consolidating services into visits is just from a labor standpoint, like vital. And we wanted to create a system that, at least at the very basic level, met the maintenance requirements of the most important components, the core components of the home, and the things that are most likely to fail. So HVAC obviously is one of them. That's why every HVAC company out there offers these tune-up packages. The second thing being, tankless water heaters in particular, but water heaters. Just spoke with a lady who was quoted by a local plumber, $3,600 to swap out her hot water tank.
Yep.
And I mean, it was 6 years old. So as a traditional water tank, 6 years old, needs to be replaced. It's $3,600. Whereas, a simple flush once a year probably would have gotten her another 5 or 6 years at least, would have doubled, probably tripled the lifespan on that appliance. So our most basic package, the essential package, it's priced to be affordable. And our target demo there is kind of widows and the 65 and up crowd. That's $67 a month. I had to throw that in.
Yep, I've seen it in your marketing.
We're just beating a dead horse at that point, but that is $67 a month, and that gets them a twice a year HVAC tune-up. That gets the dryer vent clean out. That gets the battery swaps on their smoke detectors and their carbon monoxide detectors. That gets 1 hour of handyman labor.
Mhm.
Across all that, they also get priority scheduling, and they get a discount on any of our other legacy services. So if they have an electrical, plumbing, HVAC need or roofing need or anything else, and then they're going to get discounted on those services. Every plan from that includes the prior plan's benefits. So the next tier up adds winterization and summer prep. It adds gutter clean out, adds 5 hours of handyman service, and then the top tier is $329 a month. It's expensive, but it actually provides the most savings across all of our package when you break
Mhm.
it down per service basis. They get 18 hours of annual handyman labor. They get a soffit cleaning. That's a big one. They get an annual professional interior spring cleaning. So we come in, shampoo and vacuum the carpets, move all the furniture for them, do all that, as well as the winterization. And then we do a comprehensive roof inspection as well in that package. So
Now, Hunter, getting back to your history with insurance, is there any benefit to a homeowner getting into a service plan like this and having it show that there's a reduction in their annual insurance costs because they are having all this done and demonstrating it?
So a key part of what we do is data, right? So
Mhm.
secondary to the actual services that we provide, we are collecting data. And insurance carriers are driven by data. Like the more information they can get about a home, the more accurate they can be in their risk assessment. And so right now, no, there is no, benefit to their premiums utilizing a program like this, other than it might reduce the likelihood of a loss.
Mhm.
But our long-term plan here is to utilize and leverage that data so that we can go to somebody like Zillow or the MLS or even somebody like State Farm or Allstate and say, hey, we know exactly what type of roofing system is on this home and how old it is. We know exactly how old this water tank is and whether it's been maintained or not. This HVAC system kind of here's a lot of insurance carriers are offering like a mechanical breakdown coverage now that's being taken advantage of more and more by consumers. And so we're really trying to collect these data points where eventually, maybe 5, 10 years from now, we're able to leverage that towards the insurance space to help insurance carriers with their risk portfolio. So,
Well, and that's what blows my mind about this, because I think 36 months from now, Terry, do you know how many years that is?
That's 3 years, Will.
Sorry, I had to take that jab. I missed you, bro. You've been gone a while.
And I can still do basic math.
Yeah, well, you are in academia, so I hope you can do basic math and you teach construction science. But anyway, 3 years from now, I think I am going to be kicking myself for not looking at this model.
yeah.
And I mean, it's just insane the amount of data that you guys are pulling. And you're already building the credibility source. It doesn't matter if insurance or anybody else is not going to look at it. Eventually, people are going to say, where's the Carfax, right?
Right.
Where's the Abundant Home Services report on this?
Uh-huh.
And that just blows my mind. And I see this mountain growing that you guys are starting to build. So when I look at that, let's just talk about from the business owner's perspective. You guys have the renewal revenue, and you mentioned this at a 40% margin.
Mhm.
That's massive for a contractor. Now, the expansion revenue of add-on services, because people don't need something maintained, they need the entire kitchen ripped out. Like, take me through what that process is looking like, because you're managing subs.
Yep.
And a diverse group. So what's been the challenges there, but also what's been the big wins?
So the challenge has been we are dealing with we're having to do some social engineering here, I think. I don't know if that's the right term or not, but people by nature are reactive. They are not proactive. And so selling the value of being proactive and what yourself from 18 to 24 months from now will be thanking you for participating in this. Whereas your current self, it's hard to wrap your head around exactly like why I should do this. And so for us, it's like getting good at the value add and why it's important. And that has been a challenge for us. And honestly, like when we look at where our customer acquisition is coming from, we have spent a good deal of our marketing dollars marketing our maintenance subscription plans, right? And I think that's important because it's getting people aware of it. But we're not seeing a lot of conversions from that. Where we're seeing nearly 100% conversion is going in to do a system replacement,
Uh-huh.
telling these folks like, hey, you're paying this amount of money for this brand new HVAC system. Let's make sure that this doesn't happen again while you're alive. Let's get you on a maintenance subscription
Yep.
and take care of this along with all these other things. And so we it's literally 100% close rate on selling these subscription packages to the customers that we're supplying HVAC services and remodel services to. We do both of those in house as along with roofing, plumbing, and electrical. We've got subs, and they're armed with our material, going out and doing those as well.
Well, and I know Josh knows about this, Hunter. Like, because Josh came from HVAC.
Mhm.
So I've got an HVAC tech. He's coming out, he's servicing my stuff. How often is the HVAC tech changing filters? Because that's an important freaking part
Yeah.
of the performance of the system.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing it twice a year, and what's beautiful about our system is services are
Well, no,
good.
let me rephrase that. So
Yeah.
most HVAC companies aren't going the extra mile to ultimately maintain that system. Kind of like, hey, the air handler's up in the attic and you're under ventilated and the filters haven't been changed. Well, don't worry, that's taken care of.
Yeah, I'll take that one step further, Will. How many HVAC techs are out there and the customer's like, hey, can you help me with this, right? And so that 1 hour of handyman service rolls into that. And now it's not, hey, I'm done, right, with my basic job that I was here. What else can I help you with? Do you need X, Y, Z taken care of? What would be interesting to me, Hunter, and I'm going to give you 2 ideas. And when they become money makers, I take payment and beer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
you need a model for investors, right? So say I have multiple homes, multiple income properties, but I don't want to deal with having 4 or 5 different people I have to call. I just want to call you and have you go out to whichever property that is. And then second, I have a mother who lives alone. Can I buy this subscription for her so that now I don't feel like the bad son who's not going out to take care of these things and I don't have time to do it? I'm not saying that's what Will does. I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, so Terry, I'll address both of those points. We do have a way to gift this, and honestly, like I wouldn't stop at just your elderly mother.
Mhm.
If you have a kiddo that's just bought their first home, they know nothing about home systems or what they should be doing. This is a perfect product for them to have worry-free home ownership, getting them started and their feet wet. We're also about education. So as we're coming out, if they have any interest in kind of
Yep.
understanding what we're doing, like they can participate in that. But on our website, abundanthome.services/subscriptions, towards the bottom, there is a gift of worry-free maintenance option where you can purchase this, plug in the person's information, and we'll get them taken care of. Second to that, you mentioned landlords and homeowners.
Mhm.
Actually, that has been so far our bread and butter.
Ah.
Yeah, we went to meet with a pretty sizable property manager. They disclosed to us that they were participating in a program that sent their tenants filters twice a year. It was $35 a month, and or it may have been quarterly. I think it was quarterly, but it was $35 a month. And their frustration was half the tenants were not putting
Mhm.
the filter, right? And so we have a program geared specifically towards property managers. It's $50 a month, where it's just the HVAC tune up with the filter replacement, the dryer vent clean out, and the hot water tank flush. And so when you weigh pros and cons of those two options, like it's a no brainer. And so in terms of picking up chunks of homes, like
Mhm.
500 time, like that has been really, really helpful, especially when we're getting started and getting our feet wet. So I'm glad you brought that up. But yes, property managers, we love them. We have a product for you, and it's great. So
Hunter, I would tell you 2 things that I have lost money on my investment properties.
Is a podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
knowing
just
Will as a friend.
yeah,
No, have them check. They need to check the dryers because I have brand new dryers have gone out, and check underneath the sink. I mean, like a little leak, if it is stopped within time, can fix so much.
absolutely. And I've bought my fair share of beers for Will. So
Yep, yep. I would second that with Terry. Like slow urination time, that's a problem. And
Well, I
you
was going to
know,
say, you have not bought that many beers for me, Will. I mean, I'm just,
by the way, Terry, next time we're in a public place together, like, and we have to go to the bathroom, and there's full of people. The best thing to do is just say like, "Oh, that burns," and it's so funny to listen to the reaction of people, especially when it burns. Hold on. So time out real quick. All right, Terry. I missed you, bro. So I'm getting all ADHD today.
yep, I know.
So let me bring this back because this business model,
Mhm.
Hunter, I think is the new way of doing things. It's crazy because this concept of marrying service plans and a holistic approach is going to bring this kind of I just want to subscribe and forget about it
Mhm.
methodology. And so when you're going out there, there's also this aspect, and sorry, Terry, you could relate to this. Like the same UPS driver, I think of Jared, the guy that comes to my business, same
Yep.
guy, been that guy for years. Adrian, same UniFirst uniform
Yep.
guy in my business for years.
Mhm.
And I've developed that relationship. Or so is that kind of what you've seen in the model that you want to keep the same touch points and people going to those accounts? And if that's the case, what's the threshold? How many
yeah,
how many accounts can they hold?
yeah. So we've embraced automation as much as we can, and this is a great area where automation can kind of marry with humanity, right? And that is when we go out and we book a new client, the process is typically I come out and do a home health review. It's kind of like just a visual inspection of the home. We're looking for issues that can be immediately addressed.
Mhm.
And once I'm done with that, I collect the data at that point in terms of like, what kind of systems do they have? What are their aging conditions? Things like that. When I get back to the office and I mark that complete through House Call Pro, the remaining visits are booked out and assigned to a tech. And so, yes, they will get the same tech, same handyman out every time that there's a visit and services that need to be completed. So there will be that relationship there. That's core to kind of how we wanted to get this going, is we knew that to keep our churn low, there's going to have to be relationship and there's going to have to be trust. And we do that through familiar faces and the same people showing up, smiling, good bedside manner, doing all the right things. And so that's something that we're drilling into our guys.
So have you seen a capacity on those accounts? Like one, call it representative from Abundant, like he can handle 50 accounts and that's it. Then we start to see a fall off. You may be discovering it now, but have you started to see that? Tradies, running your small business can be demanding. You got suppliers you got to work with. You're managing crews. Hell, you're chasing sales. It's a lot to take in. Listen, if you want to grow your business, you got to stop working in it and you got to start working on it. So that's where my friends at Foundation Rescue Supply come in. You're not just getting foundation repair products and waterproofing products and air quality control products. With their nationwide distribution, you're getting a partner who knows how to help you scale. And that's why I use them. The Foundation Rescue Supply team has industry knowledge that'll help make your life easier. You get the tools, the trainings, the systems that you need to move the needle. You want your sales team to close more leads? Done, because they have the proven process for that. You need your crews to work smarter, not harder? Done. Their installation training will get you out there and rocking and rolling in the field. With Foundation Rescue Supply, you're not just buying materials here, you're buying a better business system that they have helped create. And you sell more, you install more, and you grow your team. So the bottom line is this: you get best industry pricing, you get field productivity on track, and you get more revenue out of everybody on your team. So this is your chance to step up, scale up, and thrive. If you are ready to make that happen, head to foundationrescuesupply.com, check out their catalog, and speak to my friends, their team, how you can take beyond the products with your company with Foundation Rescue Supply.
Yeah, so we're new so we launched in October of 2025, so October 1st. So some of that data is stuff that we're still kind of trying to figure out, but where we have a good understanding of what our workload and what we can take per guy is on the property management side. So this would be akin to households having basically an essential package, and one tech can handle 500 doors.
Wow.
Yes.
That's nuts.
He's knocking 5, 6 of them out of them, 5 or 6 of them a day out. One guy can handle 500, and that's his full-time job.
Yeah.
Is just handling those doors.
Well, Hunter, and my expectation is, talking with Will and all these home service companies he's brought in, my expectation is that when a customer is getting notified someone's coming out, there's a text, there's an email, there's a communication. This is who's showing up. Here's a photo, right? You're covering all those bases. But the other part of it is like, say that tech comes out, right? And they notice a problem, but it's outside their wheelhouse. And I don't know if there's those things. They're not going to say, you need to call HVAC company. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to have Bill he's going to come out. He's going to deal with your plumbing, your HVAC, your electrical issue, because that's all in-house. And then when he contacts you, he'll contact me as well. And so that I can be there to help explain what those issues are, right?
100%. And sometimes that bridges over into the subcontractor space for us,
Mhm.
and that's okay, because we're,
Your
like I've
project managers now.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So as I mentioned before, like, all of our subscribers get discounts on our services. Yeah, if we have to call an electrician out who we sub out, it's actually one of my business partner's father, does a great job, but he comes out and does that. We're willing to eat into our bottom line in the subcontractor spot, because we're talking lifetime value of the customer,
Yes.
and we're willing to give a little bit up now to establish that trust, establish that relationship. They feel taken care of. that churn's low. They renew for the next 10 years,
Mhm.
and we've made our money back, fivefold on anything that we do for them. So
Now, Hunter, I'm going to say one area that you might not have explored is like foundation repair, like
yeah,
concrete settling, stuff like that.
yeah,
I don't know anyone in the business right now that I would recommend.
yeah. Me either. It's crazy. Good ones are owned by women, so
No, they are.
yeah.
I didn't mean to giggle. But, sorry, that sounded so sexist. Like,
I didn't mean it that way. That's
I
probably
just
a good
need a
thing.
little bit of beer. I thought that was a jab at me because my wife Sydney's running our business. She does a kick-ass job. But if somebody just comes into that conversation in that little window, I just got canceled, Terry. I just got fucking canceled.
No, I mean, there are things inevitably that, like we don't do pools right now.
Right.
We're not going to come and pump out a septic tank. Foundation repair, that is highly, highly involved. And so in the short term, yeah, we're gonna refer that out to people with strategic partners and still make sure that the customer's taken care of and there's still one phone call to make, but we're kind of working as a concierge at that point.
But you
So
have a vested interest in a few things. One, you're going to want to make sure whoever you do refer them to is quality, because if they screw up, it's like you screwing up, right?
yep.
And then two, like the septic tank, perfect example, right? You might not get 100 of those, but you're going to get 20, right?
Yeah.
And you might be able to have that handshake agreement with like, hey, I'm going to come to you guys. You do a good job, but every time I come to you, knock 100 or $50 off the top, just so
Yeah.
my customers get a little bit more value for it, right?
Right. Correct.
Perfect.
So you started this podcast, Hunter, by saying you're not the construction guy, but I know you're handy. I've seen the
My wife
Jeep.
would say I'm handsy,
Oh,
not handy.
As long as it's your wife, you're good.
wait, yeah, I was going to say to your wife or to other. Stop being handsy, so handsy, Hunter. But no, I've seen your technical skills. I see the Jeep Wagoneers you guys have restored with your dad and all sorts of cool stuff, and you're handy. So give yourself credit. But I know you're also the numbers guy. So now we're going to get into KPIs.
Okay.
So a company like me or somebody else out there in the country thinking about getting into this, what are some of the key performance indicators or metrics that you've really kind of driven down into that have been like, well, yeah, these are the things you need to focus on? You mentioned churn before, and a lot of contractors don't understand churn.
Yeah.
So what are those key performance indicators that are most important to a membership-driven business?
And coming from the insurance space like that, that's retention. I think in the contracting space, you guys call it churn. In insurance, we call it retention, but it's the same idea, right? Like, are we providing a level of service and care that keeps our customers satisfied and happy and feeling valued? And that's really where I come in. Is that's my entire professional life. It's been just trying to keep customers happy and keep them around. That was the lifeblood of my business for 15 years. So that's a huge component of what we do. A lot of our KPIs, it's difficult because if you're another contractor looking to get into this space, we're somewhat unique, and this, in that we took two existing businesses that were already cash flowing and brought them together. And that has helped tremendously, right? So we're not starting from net zero. We already have cash flow from remodel jobs that we've got going on, from system replacements and different things that Josh has going on the HVAC side of things. So that has really allowed us the flexibility to give a lot of attention and care, allowed me a lot of the flexibility to give attention and care to the maintenance component of what we're trying to do. And so it's a little bit different for us, but churn is always going to come down. And this is just my personal experience. I'm not a big, when I read science fiction. Okay. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, self-help and stuff like that. So I'm not going to sit here and spout books and self-help stuff and all this stuff. This is just my personal experience. But if you provide great service, genuine and authentic care to your clients, your churn will be low. If your client feels like they are receiving value in what you provide, your churn will be low. And so that's kind of where the lens through which we've looked at everything is Is our pricing in line with providing the value? Do the guys we have going out represent the values that we have as a company to the customer, and are making the customer comfortable, feel valued, feel like, that we really care. So a lot of what we deal with is in our training with communication and how we talk to people. And then this, from a sales perspective, are you conveying that value to the customer? And that's got to be a constant reiteration, because like I said, we're bucking societal trends here, right? It's a kind of a constant game of education, of reiteration and reinforcement with the client to make sure that they understand exactly what they're getting and why it's important. So
Now, Hunter, I think you sit in a very interesting position because you're bringing together plumbers, HVAC, contractors, electricians, right? You're bringing together these different trades.
yeah,
And if you could look and say, all right, this is typically the operational philosophy that they're missing when they're trying to get into that home service aspect, or how to be successful in creating this type of business. Is there like a key thing that they're all missing, or like, oh, electricians are always doing this wrong, or plumbers are all doing this wrong? What are you seeing?
I think when I talk to a lot of like just the regular consumers, where a lot of contractors and providers are failing. I'm gonna take my dad, for example. Before we got this started, he used a different company to do an HVAC replacement, a system replacement. As an afterthought, we had Josh come in and look at the system. Did not need to be replaced, but that was kind of what he was sold on as his only option, right? So contractors don't do themselves any favor when it's always an upsell. Sometimes it's okay for it to not be an upsell. It can be a repair. It can be like, I'd like to look at it through the lens of like my grandpa, it's like, if it's broke, don't fix it. If it's broke, then fix it. You don't replace it. We're building our model on, we cross sell every opportunity we get, but upsell is not a big component of what we're trying to do. I mean, it's just not, because it doesn't have to, but that grinds against the trust, and it can potentially erode that trust. If our techs feel like that's the goal of what we're trying to do, is to upsell, that's what they're always going to be trying to do while they're out in the field talking to clients. And so we don't want that. We want to save every HVAC system that we can. We want to save every water tank that we can. And so that is just inherently reinforcing the trust notion that we're trying to establish with our clientele.
And that is such an important concept that me and you, if our relationship is this one interaction, then I'm trying to get you for everything I can. But in your business model, that interaction is every month. It is every quarter. It is every year. And so that interaction is not about that one time. It is about that prolonged experience. And that's huge.
Correct. Yep.
Well, and we're seeing so much of this now in home services in general, private equity moving in. And I'm not bashing private equity. Let's just be clear. But it's like, no, we got to drive average dollar per stop and things like this. I know you people out there, you're going to hate on me right now on the comments section. I don't care. I'll have Drake or Chris respond to him. Or Terry, I'll give you access to the account.
That could be horrible.
Oh, that could be really bad. But like, seriously, like this concept of, the upsell model is this is where you're shaking it up. The upsell model is a short-term gain, long-term loss. You're getting the $10,000 now on the account, but you lost the $60,000 in the lifetime value of customer. Hunter, I know you and I have talked about this. It's kind of weird how this concept of software business model is merging with construction model. So you take the lifetime value of a customer equals essentially your annual value or reoccurring revenue times your gross profit margin divided by your churn, meaning how many accounts you lost. You do that right there, it tells you that customer that is $800 a year for your base service is actually going to be worth, closer to $40,000 because you're playing the slow game. And I think that's what I love about you guys from a purpose perspective is you're pushing against the model, but you're also pushing against the big like just do it now because we need to drive cash flow for our shareholders model. And that's what I get pumped about when I listen to this. So
For shareholder, like, I mean, the value long term is happy customers. I mean, you talked about, if when there is an exit strategy for us, the value of our company is going to be built on the trust relationship we've established with the client through what you just talked about. I mean, it's not upsell opportunities. It's not immediate gratification. It is a slow play, slow burn. These people are with us for life, and they're not going anywhere to play for us. And so at the end of the day, that is going to give us long-term value, just doing it the right way.
yeah, and there's probably a correlation to you're seeing that from your insurance perspective too.
Mhm.
Like you get that new account, yeah, okay, it's $29 a month. Well, no, it's not $29 a month. Like that thing's going to last 6 years, and then you bolt on and add on.
I'll say a good chunk of our customers doing this are my insurance customers. So
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
cool.
it just shows you where relationship and trust, how far that can take you with the client. I am reaping the benefits of lifetime value now, in a completely different space because of, those values that were applied back then. So you never know when it's karma, right? It's when it's gonna come around and give you a little kiss in the cheek.
Yeah. Well, so listen, I love you. I am so pumped about this business model. I'm jealous because I'm like, you hit the curve way ahead of myself and others in the industry. And really what I want out of this conversation is, can Terry and I have 10% discount on our services that we're about to purchase for our local family members? Otherwise, we'll kill this episode right now.
Why are you only going for 10, Will?
Okay. There's my bro. There's my bro TL. There he is, right there, bro.
I'll do you one better. I'll take 25%. And Will can have that 10.
Uh-huh. Yeah, let's get back to that ruler analogy that we talked before. But listen, Hunter, how do people get a hold of you? You mentioned the website, do a long list of URLs before, but contractors, customers alike, mainly contractors, because I think you're going to see a lot of folks gravitate towards this model, and they're going to want your wisdom and advice on how this is working. And you're such an open soul and so genuine. That's what I love about you. How do they get a hold of you and Adam? And then I do want to talk about the representative before we close out.
Yeah. And I'll say too, like you and I go way back. I was one of the first people that got to meet you whenever you relocated to the OKC Metro. You're brilliant, and you sell yourself short all the
Did
Will.
you fuck you, Terry?
Yeah. I'm not trying to blow smoke here. Will
And this paid.
I know I got good friends when they do shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I was just trying to bring some realness to this episode.
no, that's all right. TL and I we hadn't hung out in a while. We're good. We're good.
No,
We're
no,
good. Continue telling everybody how great I am. Hunter, continue.
So encouraging, just in making yourself available when I needed advice and needed, feedback. Incredibly grateful for the relationship, and you guys need more subscribers and more listeners, because honestly, I hadn't really listened much until this week trying to get prepped for this. And man, some of it's a gold mine, and it really got a lot of value. So I'll be a disciple for you guys moving forward as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
Dude, I am pumped. You have a good sense of humor. That's what is my qualifying factor of people I respect and love in my life. So that's why I'm glad to have you on. Super pumped. Thanks for spending time with us, Terry.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you.
It was a blast.
Man, glad to have you back.
Terry, thank you.
Great to
Yeah,
have you.
no. Don't thank the help. Easy. I'll handle that. All right. So just say good job, Terry. All right. Anyway, to you tradies out there, man, I appreciate you guys. Glad to have Terry back, and I'll see you next week on another episode of Beers with Contractors. Peace.
See you guys.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Beers with Contractors. We hope you enjoyed our chat as much as we did. Before we say our final goodbyes, a friendly reminder. Beers with Contractors encourages responsible drinking. If you choose to enjoy a beverage during our time together, please do so in moderation and only if you're of legal drinking age in your country or state. Furthermore, the advice and insights shared in this podcast are for informational purposes only. Always consult with professionals and experts in your field, and be sure to follow local laws and regulations regarding licensing and permits. We're here to help, entertain, and inspire, but your safety and compliance are important. So, as you head out into the world of construction and contracting, remember to build responsibly and make decisions that stand the test of time. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next episode of Beers with Contractors. Until then, cheers to your success.